for week 3. Week 3.
Drink, Read, Fabio.
Woohoo! We're so excited.
Yes. Can't wait for this week. It's going to be exciting. What do you
Yeah.
got for us, Sophia? It's your
Okay.
week for the drink.
Woohoo! It's my week. So, the book that I chose for this week is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Freaking loved it. It was so cute. So it's basically about this girl, Olive. She is a PhD student in STEM. So we love women in STEM.
Yes, for sure.
Representation.
Science, thank goodness.
Yes.
To us.
And so she's a PhD student. Her best friend of all time has a crush on a boy that she used to date. But she won't date him because they're best friends and there's girl code and stuff. So to prove that Olive is okay with her friend dating, she's like, I'm just gonna kiss the first guy that I see and hopefully it'll be the end of that. And she'll believe me and we'll just move on with their lives. So the guy that she ends up kissing is a professor, a PhD professor at the college that she attends. And so things get a little bit weird after that. Then they agree to start fake dating because it kind of benefits her to help her with her friend problem, her friend not being able to date. And then it also helps him because he wants to convince the school that he wants to stay. And so, all fake romances have a turning point, so you gotta read it, and it has a really great spicy scene, which we love.
Yes, it's so good. I love this book too.
Yeah, it's so cute. Okay, so basically on the side of the book, there's like a beaker with little hearts coming out of it, kind of like looks like a little love potion. So my inspiration today was from Bailey at the Gay Globetrotter, who inspired this drink called the Love Potion. So, to get started, we have our glasses that are rimmed with pink sugar crystals to make it all cutesy. And then I also have some strawberries on a little tiny straw, but you should probably use skewers for this. And look on the video to get an idea of what it looks like. But basically, I cut the strawberries in half down the... How would you describe it?
The long side.
The long side.
Yeah, to get the full shape of the strawberry.
Yes, and then you basically just cut a little triangle to make it look like a heart. So we're gonna lay that on the top at the end. Okay, so first we're gonna get, this is the recipes for 2 drinks. So I'm gonna do it as 2, but obviously you can cut it in half if you're just doing it for yourself. Okay, so we're gonna start with 4 ounces of vodka. And we got our amazing shaker gown. Okay. One. Two. Oh. And 3. Oh, it's moving away from me. 4. Okay.
Love it.
Next, we're gonna do 2 ounces of cranberry juice.
I love cranberry juice.
Vodka cran, it's the go-to.
Always. Are we white or are we white?
Yes. Exactly. 2 ounces of cranberry juice. Now we have raspberry lemonade.
Yeah.
We're gonna do 1 ounce of that. And then we have 1 ounce of orange juice. Oh, I said that so weird. 1 ounce of orange juice. A splash of grenadine.
A splash.
Just a little splash.
Now we're gonna shake.
Now we're gonna shake it. Shake, 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 senora. Here we go. Okay, ready? Shake, 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 shake.
think it's good.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. Yes, we got a cute little pink, kind of like looks the same color as yours.
Kind of does, yeah. And then you top it off, you fill it up the rest of the way with Prosecco.
Yeah, top it off with some Prosecco.
After me,
Yes, how much should I pour?
like a good amount.
So, now we're gonna put our little swabs on top. Cute little strawberries. Little straws, and this is what your drink will look like.
How cute.
So another, if you want to go to our YouTube, you can see what they look like, but another great girls' night drink.
Love it.
Cheers
Honestly,
again.
This is our girls' night every week. So.
Get your straws. Oh,
Ooh,
I
sour.
impaled my cheek a little there.
Oh, good. You know what else impales your cheek?
She's strong boy.
That is delish.
Delish. All right, and that is the love potion.
Love it. It was so good. All right. Now on to the main event.
The main event, the book of the week. Let's hit it.
Yeah, back to me, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait to show you guys. I know we love our cowboy territory, but I had to get out of our cowboy.
Yeah, so we're not all cowgirl.
And go to my personal favorite genre of Fabio books.
Bum, bum, bum. Here we go.
The Renaissance.
Yes.
Renaissance romances.
Yes.
Renaissance romances have such a big place in my heart.
Oh yeah.
I love them so much.
Oh, me too.
They're my favorite things.
They're so hot.
They're so hot, and it's like, so, and I'm going to do a little bit rundown for those of you that don't know the rules of Renaissance romances.
Oh, rules.
Well, of course, because it's set
Okay.
in the 1800s usually, like 1800s or like,
Yeah.
early 1900s. And usually in Europe, because, you know, it wasn't as civilized over here in America.
Yeah.
And so, you know, at that point, women had to be buttoned up all the way to the top. You know, they weren't allowed to show their ankles, weren't allowed to show their wrists or hands even at times. And they, you know, had the big dresses and the corsets and all that jazz. And they were still kind of terribly auctioned off. You know, once they hit 17, they went into their first, like, come of age ball. And then at that point, were kind of almost put on the market for men to come at balls and meet them and get married, basically. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's always a big issue in all of these books.
Oh yeah.
And so, and for me, that kind of makes it a little bit more attractive because, you know, they are so covered up. So every little piece of skin and every touch, it means so much more to them.
Exactly.
Because, you know, even a kiss on the cheek is seemed as forbidden.
Yeah.
Especially at that age.
And they have to take so long to take off their clothes, so everything's like so descriptive and so like emotional. I love it.
So, welcome to the world of, this is also Lord of Scoundrels.
Amazing.
Yes. By Loretta Chase, who is a very well-known Renaissance romance writer.
Okay.
She was friends with Julia Quinn, who wrote the Bridgerton series. They're really close friends, and they
amazing
bounce off of each other. She's really great. So this book revolves around Lord Dane. Lord Dane was born hated by his father and left by his mother.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
so he wasn't ever, and his father and mother were not a love match. He basically just claimed her at 17 when he was like 40, 45, got her pregnant to get him an heir, and then never touched her again.
Oh, good.
And she obviously was very upset by this and ended up leaving him for another man and going off to London, and that's why his father hates him so much.
Sure.
And he was never known.
I feel like always their fathers hate them.
Yeah, of course.
Bridgerton.
And and he was never known as an attractive kid. So they explain a lot in the book how his father, the minute he came out, was like, ew, he's so unattractive. And as a kid, you know, his father shipped him off to school at the age of 8, to a boarding school.
Yeah.
And all the kids bullied him, and basically to earn his place, he had to fight his way to the top through, you know, fighting, scheming, gambling. He gambled his way to become one of the richest bad boys in Paris.
Whoa.
So he is now famous in Paris and is known as this wealthy guy who runs around with the harlots and in the gaming halls and in the bars.
He's naughty.
He's a naughty boy, yes.
So he's from the UK?
He's from London, but he moves to Paris.
Okay, he's from London, moved to Paris. Got it.
But he's famous. Even though he's a bad guy, he's very famous.
Okay.
And everybody knows who he is.
Yeah,
and he's very sought after because he's kind of like the...
Well, he's a lord, right?
Yeah, he's a lord and he's dark and mysterious. And then Jessica, who is our leading lady, has always been known as being too pretty and too smart for her own good at this time.
Good.
As she's 27, so in this time, 27, you're a spinster at that point.
Yeah.
So, but she still gets offers every single season for marriage. She's been getting countless offers since she was put on the market, quote unquote. Will never take any of the offers because she wants someone that's going to let her be herself, because she's kind of early day feminist.
Yeah.
In this time. And like she wants women to have their own rights, and she wants to open up her own shop.
Okay, yeah.
And create her own life for herself. And the reason why she wants to open her own shop is because her brother is dim-witted, and he is running, basically has fallen under Lord Dane's hold, and is now in severe debt.
To him.
Well, not just to Lord Dane, but Lord Dane basically pulls him around to like all the gambling halls and makes him drink, makes him gamble his money away. So now he's in a lot of debt. So Jessica's like, okay, it's my duty now to get my brother out of debt and help him along and get him away from Lord Dane. Where Jess is obsessed with this crusty old painting. And everybody's like, ew, that's kind of gross. Do you really want that? And she buys it for dirt cheap, right? And Dane is super amused by her. And thinks she's so cool because she barters down the price of this painting with the guy, and it's very weird for a woman to be bartering at that time, let alone going in and buying something like that.
It's like she's so forward. I like
exactly. That. And they're both instantly attracted to each other. And which brings me to my favorite segment, first glances.
Oh,
I love the first glances. So this is for Lord Dane to Jess.
Okay.
Under the monstrous bonnet was a perfect oval of a porcelain white, flawless countenance. Thick, sooty lashes framed silver gray eyes with an upward slant that neatly harmonized with the slant of her high cheekbones. Her nose was straight and delicately slender, her mouth soft and pink and just a fraction over full. For one deranged instant, while he contemplated licking her from the top of her brow to the tips of her dainty toes, he wondered what her price was.
Oh,
I know.
That went straight from being very like, I love her nose and her eyes, and then he's like, and I want to lick her.
I know.
From her brows to her little pinky toe.
And then this is the opposite, so Jess to him. Bertie had told her Dane was a very large man. She had half expected a hulking gorilla. She had not been prepared for a stallion. Big and splendidly proportioned and powerfully muscled. Stallion. If what his snug trousers outlined was any indication.
Okay, so she sexualized him as much as
she did. Yeah, which we love.
Okay.
If like you're gonna sexualize one side, might as well do it at the back. Right back to him.
Yeah.
They leave the art store, right?
Yes.
Jess's crusty painting ends up being a Russian portrait worth a couple $1,000s. So she got a good one. And Dane hears about this from Bertie and is super butthurt that he didn't notice it and now he wants it.
Dane does.
Dane does, Lord Dane. He's like, what? I didn't see that was a
But isn't he
portrait?
rich?
Yeah, but he always wants what he can't have. And he feels like his masculinity, yeah, literally. He feels like his masculinity was hurt because he couldn't notice that the painting was worth that much, and she did, and she knew. So he asks Jessica to lunch to buy it off of her, and she says the only way she will give it to him is if he stopped influencing Bertie. He's like basically offering her thousands of dollars. He's like, I'll give it to you. If you give it to me, I'll give you $5,000. I'll give you $10,000. Like raising the prices each time. And she's like, the only thing I want is for you to stop hanging out with my brother. Please stop hanging out with my brother.
But why? Like, because he wants it to sell it?
I think he just wants it to have. He thinks it's very, I think it's literally just, he is a man.
His pride has been hurt, and he
hurt.
wants to not feel that way anymore.
He wants it.
Yeah.
He has got in his mind that he wants this painting.
And he's like, I'm a man and I can take it.
And he's used to that. He's used to being able to take what he wants. Right. And she's like, the only thing you need to do if you want this painting is to stop hanging out with my brother.
That's so silly.
But he gets even more mad. He's like, you can't tell me who I can and cannot hang out with. You're going to take this money and give me the portrait, or I'm going to ruin you in public.
What?
Because they're out at lunch, right?
Oh, they're just out at lunch.
Yeah, he asked her, and he gets mad, and they start arguing. And so she has these gloves on that have buttons all the way up the sides, and he grabs her and he's like, I'm gonna ruin you, and starts slowly undoing the buttons on her gloves.
He does?
Yeah. While speaking to her, because he speaks Italian, because his mother was Italian.
Oh,
so
okay.
he starts unbuttoning her glove while speaking like these sultry sayings in Italian.
Okay. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Honestly?
Kind of.
I'm like,
Okay.
I mean, he's kind of a prick, but
Speak
to me in Italian, though.
Take off my glove, Lord Dane.
Yeah.
And this is what they say. And while in Italian he detailed his heated fantasies, he was slowly peeling the glove back, exposing a delicately voluptuous palm.
Voluptuous palm? What is that?
You know, I don't know.
Okay.
Then he gave one small tug towards her knuckles and paused, then another tug. And the glove was off. He let it fall to the table and took her small, cool, white hand in his great, warm one. She gave a tiny gasp. That was all. No struggle.
Glove in the restaurant.
Lord Dane!
How naughty.
But
Her bare hand?
this plan backfires on him. Because...
She slaps him.
No. His reputation is the one that actually gets ruined because he has never been seen in public with a respectable woman. He has never been seen with a respectable woman because in his past, the one time he had... the one time he had sex with a respectable woman, she ended up pregnant and tried to blackmail him.
I mean, yes, that does suck.
Those suck. And so now he's like, I'm only gonna sleep with women who know what I'm here for, who will take precaution, and won't.
This is like their work.
This is their work, and they're not gonna come after me if anything happens.
Yeah. Like, I'm not the only guy they're sleeping with.
Exactly. And at that time, there were apparently precautions you could take to not get pregnant or take care of it. Yada yada yada. And they become the talk of the town. Everybody's whispering about seeing Dane whispering those sensual words to her and taking her glove off, and he gets even more mad because in Paris.
Okay.
And he gets even more mad because this is happening and starts truly corrupting Birdie. He takes it out on her brother.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And Birdie just wants him to be his best friend.
It's his fault.
I know.
He started it.
I know. So Birdie just wants a best friend. He's like, please just be my friend. And so Lord Dane's like, all right, you stupid idiot, come along. I'm going to ruin your life. So Birdie was supposed to escort her to a ball and never shows up.
Okay.
So Jessica stomps over to Dane's place.
Wait, Birdie was supposed to escort Jessica to the ball?
Yes.
Just
because she needs, at that time, you need a man to escort you.
Yes.
You can't go by yourself.
Yeah.
And he said, I will be here at 6 o'clock to escort you. He doesn't show up. So she storms over to Dane's place and goes into his parlor and finds Birdie passed out drunk on the floor and Dane in the middle of an orgy.
What? An orgy?
Yeah, he has 2 girls on top of him. So Jess is furious and storms out, and Dane, of course, chases after her because he's also mad that she stormed into his house without asking.
He stops the orgy. He's like, wait.
He does. He literally, well, they haven't really done anything yet. Like, they're just starting to take his clothes off.
Okay.
And so he runs out, like, with his shirt untucked and his pants unbuttoned. He storms after her, also upset because she barged in on his whole ordeal. And she's upset that he made her brother drunk, and now she could not get escorted to the ball. So they're arguing.
Yeah.
And he's chasing her down the street, and she gets so irritated that she takes off her bonnet and starts hitting him with her bonnet.
Not the bonnet.
Oh yeah, with the bonnet. He rips it out of her hands, throws it on the ground, and she starts just punching him, just going at it.
Okay.
And he's like, "You small little thing, you're not making a dent in me." And
that would be me.
yes, but he starts getting annoyed, so he just grabs her and kisses her to shut her up.
What?
Yeah.
When is
She kisses him back.
Of course.
Yes. So, and it's raining.
Of course.
Of course it's raining. It starts to rain. So one drop skittered along the side of her nose and down to the corner of her mouth. Damnation. And then he didn't care what he crushed or broke. He reached out and wrapped his monster hands around her waist and lifted her straight up until her wet, sulky face was even with his own.
Crushed or broke what?
Like her. Like he was like, I'm just gonna slam her into me. He like wasn't even thinking. He was just like, psh.
Sure.
And in the same heartbeat, before she could scream, he clammed his hard, dissolute mouth over hers. And that's their first...
Dissolute.
Dissolute, yes.
Yes.
That's their first kiss in the rain when they're mad at each other.
Of course. That's so typical.
So typical. That, she runs home,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't see each other for weeks. They just avoid each other. They don't see each other at all.
That's good. Let's just avoid it.
But they're the talk of the town, right? And people are starting to gamble on them, on their relationship. We're saying, Dana's going to ruin everything. Things like that. Betting on it. So the two don't see each other for weeks until they get invited to a ball together. Because they're the talk of the town, one of the wealthy women who is throwing the ball is like, I'm going to get them two into the room so that more people come to my ball. Because they're the hottest goss.
Yeah, because everyone wants to see what's up.
Exactly.
Yes.
So she doesn't know she's going to go, but she decides to go anyway because she doesn't want to offend him in case he shows up and she's not there. Woman.
Yeah.
And she goes, he's not there. Her whole dance card fills up. And at the stroke of midnight, he comes waltzing into the ball.
Oh my gosh,
even though he
of
hasn't
course.
been to a respectable event in 7 years.
7?
He shows up. For her. But he walks straight up to her, takes her dance card, rips it up.
Exactly.
And says, "May I have this dance?"
Exactly.
Yes.
He wanted to be the only one.
So they dance 3 dances in a row, which is very scandalous for this time.
3?
3. And then a fight breaks out in the poker room. Because at all these places, there's always a men's room where the men can only go, where they play games, and there's usually whiskey, things like that, where the men are. And there's a fight that breaks out. So everybody in the party is directed towards the fight. He grabs her, and they go out to the garden.
The garden, always. The garden.
Obviously, they're arguing, because that's all they do is argue, until they start making out. And things start getting a little hot and heavy, a little frisky.
In the garden?
In the garden. And
Bridgerton?
then, literally Bridgerton, they get caught by the people in the party.
Oh.
Because they're the talk of the town, obviously people are looking at where they're going.
Yeah,
and when one person saw that they weren't there anymore, they went out looking for them. And then too late, she heard as well the swish of a gown brushing against shrubbery and muffled whispers.
The ladies.
So at this point, she's ruined.
No one can mind their own business.
Nobody can mind their own business. And she was half undressed.
Oh, like that, naughty.
It wasn't super undressed, but like
For that time,
she was like, she had the back of her dress was undone a little bit. Not like you couldn't see anything, but it looked like they were in the middle. It was scandalous.
Because if a glove is scandalous, girl, the back of your dress being open is scandalous.
Yes. So they get caught. And at that point, that minute, she's ruined by society.
And because they think she's like...
She's a slut now. She's damaged goods.
Oh, sure.
Yes, so she's totally ruined. And he acts like he doesn't care. She's like, you need to help me and do something. Tell them something to help me. And he's like, your fault, and leaves her there.
Okay, Dane.
I know. How rude. How rude.
Is he gonna come around? I hope so.
I hope so. She can stick up for herself, though. She is furious. and knows that now she has to do something dramatic because her now being ruined, she's never going to get a husband. If she opens a shop, no one respectable is going to go and shop there. She is going to be an outcast.
Shop.
I know. She's furious and knows that she has to do something dramatic. So she goes to his place unannounced with all of his friends there, pulls out a pistol and shoots him in the arm.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. Where'd she get the pistol from?
She's a badass.
Okay.
She's
Free?
like, maybe, I don't know.
Okay, girl. That definitely makes a statement, but
It does.
explain to me what kind.
So basically what happens is now that she has done this, immediately she goes outside, turns herself in to the police, and goes to the jail for the night where she's then bailed out right away because she's a respectable society lady. And after her display of retaliation, she immediately gets a lawyer and calls Dane in and forces him, or basically has her lawyer force him to give her a yearly allowance because now that he has ruined her, she won't be able to find a husband and won't be able to get a job. So she's like, now you have to take care of him. Yeah, so she grabs her lawyer.
Okay, queen.
And he goes, well, if I'm going to be paying for you and supporting the rest of you for the rest of your life, I'm going to make you my wife.
Oh my gosh. I thought you didn't want that.
He doesn't want her to win. He's going to go through anything to make sure she does not win.
But he does like her, so there's that.
But this is what he says, which honestly is so infuriating. He goes, very well, I agree, but on the same terms any other man would insist upon, exclusive ownership and breeding rights. What? He goes, I'll give you the money, but you have to be my wife. And as my wife, that's going to mean that I own you, and you're going to have my babies. He was like, if you want to play that game, let's play that game. So she obviously doesn't want him to win. Well, and he's hoping that she's going to be like, no, I don't want to marry you. But of course, she doesn't want him to win either. So she's like, fine, let's get married. Oh, yeah. And that's their romantic proposal with the lawyer in the room.
Oh, good.
Really good.
So romantic.
So they get married quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how the wedding goes. Dane terrified the minister, laughed when the bride vowed to obey, and nearly broke her jaw kissing her. So of course he couldn't even have a respectable wedding. He had to be a brute about it.
Yeah, he had to be like a little prick.
He had to be a prick about it.
And be like a little boy.
A little bad boy. So Dane and Jess start on their 2-day trip after their wedding to his manor.
Okay.
Because he owns this huge manor, because he's a lord, in London. Mm-hmm. So he said, we're moving to London, pack your things, I own you, we're going. And so they start on their 2-day trip to his manor. And at their first night in the inn, he is so scared to take her virginity because he's never been with a woman where he's taken her virginity before. He's only been with people he has paid to sleep with. Okay. That he ends up getting into a bar fight, and then putting her upstairs and going back down to the bar and getting wasted.
Because he'd rather have something that distracts him than be
in a room with her alone, where she expects him to take her virginity. Okay. Because it's their wedding night. So he does that instead. He goes back upstairs, totally wasted. She ends up taking his shoes off and like tucking him in bed. Oh. The poor guy. And she's like, guess this is my wedding night.
Yeah, she's like, yay, I'm so glad that you're my husband.
Exactly. The newlywed get to the manor and Dane is completely ignoring her. He's like, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't know what to do with you. I've never had even close to a girlfriend before. Yeah. I don't know. And Jess is determined to get a reaction out of him. She's like, I will get you to notice me and treat me with respect. And basically throws herself at him to get any reaction from him. He ends up making her finish.
What?
Yeah, because she throws herself at him.
Oh, so she's like, I want you.
She throws herself at him in the parlor.
Oh.
And is like,
in the parlor?
Yes. She's like, you want me. And I'm going to show you how much you want me.
Oh my God.
I know, and it's like pulls out like starts to take her dress off and everything, and he's just
Jessica.
like, yeah. But he makes her finish, and she falls asleep immediately after. She throws herself at him. He does stuff to her, and she's like, good night. Because it's the first time she's ever had an orgasm. She like finishes, and she's like, whoa, and goes to sleep.
I can't believe she fell asleep.
So he carries her up.
She's so relaxed. She's like,
I
feel so good.
Yeah. So he carries her upstairs to bed. So cute.
That's nice. Okay.
And freaks out. Because he's like, I'm getting feelings, and I don't know how to handle having romantic feelings towards a girl, because every woman in my life has left me or hurt me.
Oh
So,
yeah, he has
mommy
issues
and daddy issues.
So he's
like closed himself off, and he's starting to
Yeah.
feel feelings, so he freaks out. And he hears that his friend's in town, so he goes and visits his friend, and his friend is like, hey, there's this wrestling match in the town over. Do you want to come with me? Me and my buddies are going. And we're all leaving our wives, and we're going to go. And he's like, you know what? Yeah. He comes back and tells her that he's going to be leaving for a wrestling match for 3 days.
Oh.
Jess says, hell no, you're not. We are recently married. I'm in a place I've never been before, and you're gonna leave me in your giant mansion with all your servants? Definitely not.
He's like, but I want to be with my bros though.
He's like, I'm scared of you.
He's like, I don't know what to do with you, girl. I'm gonna be with my bros. We're gonna go watch some boys fight.
Yes. You know what she does? Puts on her sexy lingerie that she
Her bloomers.
that she bought
bloomers.
that she bought for their wedding night because she never got to wear it.
Oh.
So she puts on her sexy lingerie and her robe and walks over to his room, because they have separate rooms, and walks in while he's packing and starts grabbing the things that he's packing and throwing them on the ground.
Oh, good.
And this is a badass Jess moment. We have been wed scarcely 3 days, he said. You do not desert your new bride for your scapskull friends.
Scapskull.
You will not make a laughingstock of me. If you are unhappy with me, you say so and we discuss it. Or quarrel, if you prefer. But you do not dictate me, he said. You do not tell me where I may go and where I may not go, or when, or with whom. I do not explain, and you do not question. And you do not come into my room and throw temper fits. Yes, I do, she said. If you leave this house, I will shoot your horse out from under you.
Oh! She said, I already shot you. I'm not afraid to shoot your horse.
So they continue to fight.
Sure.
But she gets him into the bed with her because she's chasing him around the room, right? He's trying to grab her and throw her out of his room.
Oh.
She runs to his bed and lays on it, and he pins her down on the bed. I know.
Oh.
And so basically she grabs on him, grabs his face, and starts making out with him. And she's like, I know you want me. She starts slowly taking her clothes off. She's like, you want me, and I'm going to prove it to you. And he, of course, is like, there's a naked girl in my bed.
All these books are like conflict, sex.
But they do the deed. He takes her virginity.
Oh, so this is the first time.
This is the first time.
Ooh,
yes.
Spicy.
She confesses her love for him. She's like, I'm in love with you.
In love?
Yes. She's like, I love you, I understand you, and we are going to be a great match. She's like, because I can control you, and I know how to
She knows how to
be
stand up to him.
Yeah, she knows how to be his opposite, his equal. But then she cries.
Oh,
She cries
after she tells him?
She tells him she loves him while they're having sex, and then the minute they finish, she starts to cry. She starts to cry because she's like, I didn't know it was going to feel like that. I feel so vulnerable. This week has been shit for me. Everything's been terrible. And he's like, I know I've made this the worst time for you. I'm so sorry. Let me hold you. And holds her while she cries. And he basically is like, I'm so sorry. I've been a total jackass. I don't know
Well, that's good.
why I act this way. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he's like, I won't go tonight. I won't go tonight. And then
I won't go to my wrestling match, babe.
But don't worry. The next day he's like, we're going. You're coming with me.
The wrestling match?
Yeah, he's bringing her to the wrestling match. But she's like, great, we're going. Because she's a badass bitch.
Yeah, she's like, I'd rather go than not be included at all.
She's like, I actually know a bit about wrestling, and my brother never let me go, so I'm excited to go.
Oh, okay.
So they go to the wrestling match, and he's on edge the whole time because she's like this beautiful girl with all these gross people around her.
Yeah.
You know, watching the match. And it wasn't even a good match, apparently. Oh. So they leave early. So they're walking towards their carriage. A young boy tries to steal from their carriage. They notice that the hacky is fighting with this young boy who's trying to pickpocket him. And so they run up, they're like, hey sir, you can't take, like, we're gonna help you. You cannot steal from us, blah, 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 blah. It's this young kid, he's like 8 years old. And a woman is chasing the boy and announces to everyone that the boy is Dane's son. Yeah. The bastard child he had with the one respectable lady.
Oh yeah.
She's coming back to try to.
So we've got a common theme with your 2 books now.
I know.
The random child.
The random child.
Wow.
He saw the boy's face and was like, shit.
Wow, this is spicy.
Yes, and the woman's name is Charity. And Charity is a super, super greedy woman.
Oh, the mom.
Yes, the mom.
Okay, yeah.
And she comes running after her. She's like, oh, my son. Yeah, this is your daddy. This is your papa. Basically making a whole scene in front of Jess because she wants Jess to know that he has a son. Yeah. And also, the thing that's disgusting is that Charity is, of course, dressed to the nines, looking perfect. And the son is in rags. He's dirty. He looks malnutritioned. She is not taking care of this boy. This poor kid is being treated terribly.
Why?
Because Charity does not care. She just wants to care about herself. And Dane, this whole time, he's pissed. Because this whole time he's been giving her like $50,000 a year to take care of herself and the kid. He's basically paying child support. Yeah. He's like, here's child support for my bastard son.
Just leave me alone.
Just leave me alone. And she, of course, that's not enough for her. But of course, the minute that Jess sees this kid, she wants it. She's like, I want to take care of this kid. He's not being treated well. I want to take him into our life because you're his father and you need to take care of him. Look at him. He's being treated terribly. Yeah. And Dane is like, no, I don't want anything to do with him. He's part of my life I don't want to touch. Yeah. I already took care of him in my past and I don't want anything to do with him. And I want you to be my obedient wife and stop questioning me about it. And
not
she
obedient.
goes, I know. She goes, okay, fine. And after that is only obedient to him for 2 months. He lets her be just, and she's totally just like, anything he wants, she agrees to. Anytime he wants to have sex, she obliges. But she never initiates, she never starts a conversation. She just becomes totally the...
like a robot.
Obedient wife. And it drives him insane. He goes crazy. He doesn't know what to do about it. Until one day she says that she's going to go into town and she's made friends with a hacky. Right. And so they go into town and she's been asking the hacky to put tabs on the kid. Tell me about the kid. Tell me about everything. And so apparently the boy is really bad at school and is struggling and gets picked on and steals and cheats his way through life and it's just a hot mess. Like he is not being taken care of. He is just running around like a tyrant. And so she's like, oh no, this poor kid. She follows the boy to a abandoned house on her husband's property, on Dane's property. Yeah. And catches him. And he's like screaming like cuss words at her. He's like, let me go, blah, blah. He's only 8 years old, this poor little kid. Aww. And is like fighting her, and she's like, no, I will not let go of you. You're coming with us. Oh, well that's... And I mean, because Charity does not take care of him anymore. He's just running around the street.
Does that give her the right to kidnap him?
Well, he doesn't have a home. He's on the streets.
Oh, she doesn't even let him live in the house with her?
She doesn't have a house. She just lives with... She's now an upper class harlot. So she lives with the men around her.
She floats around.
And Charity comes running up and Charity's like, my boy, you caught him. I've been looking for him there.
of course.
I love him. And she talks to
Annie.
Charity, basically.
Like Annie when
Exactly. And
his Hannigan comes.
Jess is like, okay, cut the bullshit. Tell me what's going on. And Charity's like, if you give me that Russian picture, that's worth, and Charity thinks it's worth like $20,000. She thinks it's a priceless picture when it's not really worth that much money. But at this point, this picture means a lot to the two of them, to Dane and to Jessica, because it's kind of like their
How they
first,
met?
Yeah,
Yeah.
their first meeting kind of situation. And so she agrees that she'll give her the portrait, and they agree to meet up. But Jess then goes to Dane and tells him, and he's like, there's no way you're giving her that portrait. I will not pay for her to give me the boy. I will take the boy. At this point, he's like, okay, I'll take the boy, but I'm not going to give her any more money than I've already given her. And Jess is like, all right, but if that's going to happen, then you need to go and meet Charity and get the boy, not me. Because if it's me, it'll be a problem, but you can overpower her and you can take the boy because it's your kid.
Yeah.
It's not my kid, so I don't have any say. And he agrees. Yeah.
Okay.
So Dane goes off to get his son with his hacky Joseph.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the meantime, Charity is really trying to make this plan work, and her son really is a hot mess. He is difficult and challenging, and really is just really only wants love, this poor kid.
Yeah.
And so she ends up drugging the kid to go to sleep because he won't get in the carriage to go with her.
Wait, Jess?
No, the kid. No, Charity.
Charity.
Charity drugs her
to
son.
go to the meeting.
To go to the meeting. He won't go.
Oh, ew.
Charity drugs her son.
Good.
Because he won't go into the carriage to go away. Because he's like, no, Mom, I don't want to leave you. I love you. Please don't give me away. It's really sad. And Charity's like, you little brat, you need to get into the carriage. So she drugs him. And her son immediately in the carriage starts throwing up. He's getting really sick from these drugs. He's allergic or something, like something is not going right. And Charity is basically just taking away any blame on her part. She's like, it must have been what he ate. It wasn't what I gave him. No way. I had no part in this. I didn't do anything.
You little bitch.
I know. And he's almost like, he looks like a corpse, basically. He's like almost dead. And they take him, she takes him to the inn where they're going to meet and sees that Dane's there instead of Jessica. But because of how sick her boy is, she just abandons him.
She's just like, I don't really want to deal with this, so bye.
Yes. And it's really sad. And Dane runs into the room in the inn and opens the door and goes to his son and starts taking care of his son and trying to revive him and bring him back to life, basically.
Oh my gosh.
Which is really sad because Jessica secretly gave the hacky a sum of money to give to Charity to flee the country. She was like, get out of here, here's some money, leave.
Okay.
So Charity fled the room where her son was throwing up, and the hacky got her, like found her, gave her the money and said, get the hell out. And she was like, okay, bye.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't she terrible?
Yeah, she's the worst. What the
Yes.
heck?
She's the worst.
Charity? And her name's Charity.
Literally, yeah.
And she's literally, like...
Her name is Charity and she's the worst.
Yeah. She gives nothing.
Gives nothing and takes everything.
Exactly.
And the three of them start a beautiful family with another baby on the way.
Oh, another baby.
Another baby. And this is the final words of the book.
Oh.
His black eyes glistened. I will teach you a lesson you'll never forget. She tangled her fingers in his hair and brought his mouth to hers. My wicked darling, she whispered. I should like to see you try.
Ooh.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay! That
Okay.
is Lord of Scoundrels.
Ooh, love that.
Yes. And now I have some sexy scenes for you to read.
Of course.
And I don't even want to give you anything. I just want you to read the highlighted things.
Okay.
That's the first one.
Okay.
I've dreamed of you. I've wanted you in my arms since the moment I met you. I need you.
Of course. Of course.
So funny. I love it when they do those cliche things where it's just like,
I need you.
Up here in just this page.
Okay. She answered the bold thrust of his tongue as eagerly as her body answered the gentler ravishment of his caress, lifting and arching into him to press her aching breast against his big, warm hand.
I thought that was funny.
This was what she needed, hungered for, from the moment she met him. He was a monster, but she missed him all the same. She missed every terrible thing about him, and every wonderful thing. The warm, massive, muscular body, vibrating power, insolence, and animal grace. The bold black eyes, stone cold one moment and blazing hellfire the next. The low rumble of his voice, mocking, laughing, icy with contempt, or throbbing with yearning. He pushed up her skirts and slid his hand over her knee, and of the warmth of that hand grazing the skin above her stocking. Then his hand tightened and froze, and his warm body turned to stone.
Ooh. Spicy.
Spicy. Okay.
Rapid fire, my favorite.
She wanted to touch upon her naked flesh. Big, bare, dark hands. Moving over her everywhere. Rough or gentle, she didn't care, as long as he wanted her, as long as he kissed her and touched her like this, as though he were starving, always starving,
Always starving.
as she was, as though he couldn't get enough of her, she couldn't get of him. They're always starving in these books.
Oh yeah.
You're so smooth. Her murmuring voice came from behind him, her breast warm on the nape of his neck while she stroked his shoulder. Smooth as polished marble, but so warm and strong, she went on, while her serpent hands went on too, sliding over taut muscles that tightened and quivered under her touch. He was weak, a great, stupid ox, sinking into the mire of a virgin's seduction. You can pick me up with one hand. I love your big hands. I'm with them all over the day, everywhere. She flicked his tongue over his ear. He trembled. I should probably be like, on my skin, like this. Under his fine cambric shirt, her fingers stroked over his pounding heart. She brushed her thumb over the taut nipple, and his breath hissed out between clenched teeth. Oh wait, she's French though. I want you to do that, she said, to me. Oui, oui, bonjour.
Another one.
He had made her beg last night, yet he had not made her his. And today he thought he could turn his back and walk away and do as he pleased. He thought he could desert her, leave her wretched and humiliated, a bride, but not a wife. He didn't want her, but he did. He wanted to beg for his lovemaking so that he could pretend he was in control. Oh my gosh. But he wasn't. Oh, Jess! Oh, Jess! He pulled her to him and dragged hot kisses over her face. Kiss me. But he says it in Italian, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Kiss me, hold me, touch me, please. I'm sorry. His hand worked feverishly, pulling the gown down, moving over her back, her waist. Ooh! He was like, she can be my bride, but not my wife. Because that's any different.
I know. I love it when he's just like, kiss me, hold me, touch me, please.
He's like, pizza, lasagna, boopa-da-ba-doopa.
This is the best part.
Don't be angry, touch me, the way you did last night. She wanted to touch him and kiss him and hold him from the day she met him. She wanted him to burn for her. I know! Bridgerton! She wanted him to burn for her, just as she wanted him to set her ablaze.
Yes.
Oh my god. But we don't know what happened to the brother, do we?
I think he just gets a better... Oh yes, they take care of all of his debts. he has to take care of all of his debts now because he married her.
He so is Jess never gonna see Dane anymore? Or Birdie, because
they don't really talk about it after they say, we're gonna take care of all your debts.
Woo! I don't want you to hang out with him, but I'm gonna have sex with him. And I'm gonna marry him.
Last one.
Okay.
Oh, Dane, if you had to guess what was going through my mind when I met you, tell me. In my mind, I took off all your clothes. I couldn't help it. It was a dreadful few moments. Dreadful. I was terrified my reason would snap and I'd actually do it. There in the shop, in front of
Champtoyo.
I don't know. It's the shop.
I think that's what it is.
The shop
owner. In front of Birdie. You took off my clothes, he said, in your mind.
Yes, rip them off actually.
As I did a short while ago. Do you want to know what went through my mind? I wanted to lick you from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. Just like you said in the beginning.
Yeah, just like he said in the beginning. I honestly love that kind of stuff where they're like, tell me about when you first saw me.
Oh, I always
do
that.
What did you want to do? I love that. I always ask any guy, like, when you first saw me, what did you think?
Same. I'm always like, what was your first impression of me?
I love it. So like what they do in this book, I'm like, tell me more.
Yeah.
Keep going. And last but not least, I have some cringy moments.
Oh, yes. The cringe is the best.
The cringe. So, she had bought a red silk nightgown trimmed with black for her wedding night. She had kissed him back and touched him, and she hadn't seemed to mind being kissed and touched. Beauty and the Beast.
No.
But in 13 days, this beauty would be the Marchioness of Dane, and she would lie in the Beast's bed, naked.
Not Beauty and the Beast.
I was like, oh my god. This is a pee joke.
We love that because we're 5.
We're 5 years old.
We love a good pee and poop joke.
All a man need to do, she told him patiently, is unfasten his trouser buttons and aim somewhere, and it's done. I am a female, however, and neither my plumbing nor my garments are so accommodating.
They aren't. I cannot imagine going.
He looks at her, he's like, what took you so long? And she's like, I can't just pull it out like an animal, sir.
Yeah. At least she's a bad bitch like that. She's like, I gotta unfasten all these fucking buttons, bitch. I got a skirt, and then we got a boob skirt. My bustle, bitch. You wanna do that? Okay.
Be my guest.
Be my guest.
And the second one is what I called you.
You.
And the way your skin feels against my mouth. And the way you smell of soap and cologne and mail. I love your big, warm hands.
Always.
And your big, warm body. And your immense, throbbing blank. I'm like clay in your hands. I love you madly. I want you so much. I'm all yours, my treasure. Oh, Jess, all mine. Sweet Jesus, I'm going to die.
Oh, sweet Jesus, I'm going to die.
Sweet Jesus, I'm going to die.
I'm going to die.
And then the last one, the last quote of the book that I'm going to share with you, which is super silly. This is when Dane is speaking to his son. When his son is he kind of wreaks havoc in the manor, but Dane knows how to control him. He's running around naked because he doesn't like the clothes that they're putting him in. And so Dane takes him, grabs him, his naked boy, takes him into his room and puts him in one of his big shirts.
Oh.
He goes, you don't refer to your hindquarters when there are ladies present, even if it is vastly amusing to hear the shocking female voices. So funny. He's like, my son is just like me.
A little boy.
And that is Lord of Scoundrels.
Yeah, Lord of Scoundrels. With the girl who's naked on the cover, basically.
Yeah, she's
like a little bit like, ooh, what What else is there? We don't know.
It was honestly so good. I had a
Really?
great time reading this book.
It sounds not too bad.
It wasn't too bad. I was expecting way worse, and I actually had a good time. So, as we all know, I'm going to rate this book from slightly buzzed as being the best, tipsy, then drunk, then stumbling, then blackout,
Yeah.
being the worst.
Blackout's the worst.
Blackout's the worst. And I actually think this is probably, honestly, I'd say slightly buzzed.
Oh, okay.
I really liked it. I would probably read this unironically.
Okay.
Not gonna lie.
Because it kind of just gives me Bridgerton vibes.
It's very Bridgerton vibes.
And Bridgerton
And-
is cringy, but like that sometimes that's what you want. Though.
If I'm reaching for a book like this, 100%.
You wanted to give into the trope, full on, let's go.
Exactly. And their relationship really like is kindled well, and they're very dynamic characters that work well together, and a lot goes on, but not too much to where you're confused, and it's written really well.
Okay.
And the sex scenes are really good. So,
Okay, well, would you like recommend this for people to read, or do you think it's still one that you're like proceed with caution? But if you that sounds interesting to you,
proceed with caution. It's like it would depend on the audience, honestly. Like if somebody is coming to me like, hey, I want something scandalous and fun and entertaining, I'd be like, let me tell you about Miss Lord of Scoundrels right here.
so you've read Bridgerton.
I have.
Would you say that it was equivalent, or one? Would you like one or the other?
I actually like this more than Bridgerton.
Okay, you heard it
I-
here first, ladies and gentlemen.
I think it was really well told. When I read the first Bridgerton book, although I loved it, it was a little bit slow for my taste.
Okay.
As in, like, not much really happens in the story, and it kind of revolves just kind of around the two's relationship.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, a lot more exciting and shocking news happened. So that is my take on Lord of Scoundrels.
So if you liked Bridgerton, this might be a good one to pick up.
For sure. It's a great one. I love it.
Nice.
It's a good one.
Well, an unexpected
Find.
an unexpected find.
Yeah.
This week.
Very fun, very exciting. And I'm super excited for your week.
Yeah.
next
Don't
week.
know if mine is going to be like that. It's we're gonna have a little bit of a twist next week.
Oh, a twist?
Yeah, we're gonna be shifting gears a little bit.
I'm excited. I can't wait. All right, well, if you're wanting that twist of next week, come on back and give us a listen.
You gotta tune in. It's gonna be an interesting one.
Go like and subscribe if you loved this episode of Lord of Scoundrels, and I cannot wait to hear about next week's episode.
Yes,
next
follow
week's
us on
book.
Instagram, TikTok, you know the drill. And
If you want to see how the drinks are actually made, give us a watch on YouTube as well.
yeah, YouTube, you can see how cute they look in real life.
Yes, so wonderful. All right, well, you guys have a great rest of your week. Can't wait to see you next week on
Yes,
Drink, Read,
Fabio. Thank you for listening. Bye.